Hi there. I had an interesting situation today which made me think about everything, different things a lot, and I wanted to share about it. And I guess it's about how we react out of guilt, also how we're able to feel love for others, how we can feel compassion for others, how we can grow from situations that get on our path. So I would like to start with another story. I have a winter coat with a fur hood, and I really like that coat. And I don't eat meat, and when I was buying that coat, I had some hesitations because of the real fur on the hood of that coat. But I like that coat so much, and I couldn't find any coat without the fur that I would love as much, because it's like even without that fur, it's still a real nice coat, and you can see the picture how cool the hood is. So after trying many different coats, I decided to go with this one, despite that it had fur, and despite that I know that animal died for that. Especially that, like I walk during the winter months when it's really cold here in Michigan, and like I really appreciate warmth of that fur. So it's not a fashion statement for me, despite that it's pretty. I really like how it makes me warm. So kind of like I accepted that karma, if you want to say it like that, of animal being killed for the purpose of me wearing that coat. And despite that it was my conscious decision, I still felt guilt. And like when you have guilt, it creates karma. So obviously I was brought in this situation when one time in the store, and like I receiving compliments from people about my coat all the time, but this time the person started with complimenting my coat, and I said, yeah, thank you. And then she said, but do you know how violently they kill animals to get this coat, that they can like stripping the skin alive from them, they're not killing them first. And as it was sudden, like I didn't have time to analyze, I didn't have time to respond correctly, so I responded from my deep programming, right? My beliefs, my fears, my sense of guilt, and I kind of like was more defensive, and kind of like made a silly joke, not appropriate kind of like joke, that was really showing me that like I'm not able to act properly in this situation. But that helped me to accept really that I made this decision, and that's okay. I don't need to feel guilty, because really there is no right or wrong in the world, as long as you're doing everything with awareness, with taking full responsibility for your action. Do it. So I took that responsibility, and I was okay with that. Like people are eating meat daily, so how many animals they killing? And I already do it much better than that. It's not like it's an excuse, but like I can't forgive myself for wanting that coat, for wearing that coat. But the another side of the situation that like I wasn't able to respond with love and understanding towards that person. I wasn't able to find that place within me that were not attached to guilt. But it helped me. It helped me to analyze, to go through how I would want to act in this situation, right? That instead of being defensive and doing those jokes, like honestly saying that, yeah, I know that animal died from this, and I made this choice consciously. That, yeah, that happened. Like, to take the responsibility for that. And today was completely different, non-related situation, because you see, it's summer. It means that I don't wear my winter coat. But right now the prairie are blooming, and in the park near my house they're especially beautiful. And like once a week I gather a bouquet of flowers from the prairies, and I always felt kind of like somewhat guilty for picking the flowers, despite that like they wild, they in abundance. So they, from the perspective of being plant scientist, I knew that I'm not hurting the ecosystem, I'm not depriving bees or butterflies from of food. Like I know that I'm not like picking any protected or endangered species, but I guess I didn't know if it's you're allowed to do that, though there was no sign that you can do that. But like I had this guilt, and especially that some days I feel like I can't pick flowers because like of the appreciation of nature, and just let them be, let them grow. But other days I feel like so much devotion for the divine, so I gather in flowers to put them on the altar or puja table, is at my home, so like to present it to divine. So, like on other level, kind of like flowers are already divine, like so kind of like you offering God to God. But like every day we're on different levels, so I'm kind of like I'm allowing myself to be one day more like one with everything, another day more really feeling that I need to offer those flowers. Or like I'm bringing them to Amma Center in Michigan, where I teach yoga, and put there, so kind of like I feel on my altar it's only God and me, and at Amma Center it's more people who can enjoy those flowers. So and I kind of like always when I was meeting people, I kind of like expected that maybe they will tell me something that I shouldn't do that, and all this time during the summer, nobody told me anything until today. So I was walking with a bouquet of flowers, and the man kind of like was like look at me very angry and like, really, you needed to pick those flowers? Do you think it's okay? And I said like, yeah, I think it's not something bad to pick those flowers. And I felt so much anger in him, so much frustration, and obviously that anger really hit me, and I felt like my heart squeezed, and it was again this moment when you don't have time to analyze and to think how you should act what's the best way to act in here. So you acting out of your programming. But this time I was able to look his anger, and from the place of observer to feel love and compassion for that person. Feeling sorry that he's angry, that I was the source of his anger. And I said to him, I love you too. And obviously it didn't like break his fear, right? But I said that honestly. I didn't say it like, and I love you, right? So I really meant that, and I just walk around and walked away. So, and I didn't feel upset, right? If in situation was cold, I felt upset for a while, and I was like defending myself in my head. This time I wasn't upset, though I thought through all the arguments that kind of like I would say, but really I didn't feel defensive, and I felt that it's a bliss, it's a grace to have this opportunity to grow through such situations, to really let go, because like there was a fear, and I was brought, or like, because any like guilt is always residing in fear, right? Like guilt of doing something less than perfect, residing in fear to be bad, right? And I still analyzed that despite that I did better this time, I still analyzed how I could do that better. And I decided for myself the better way would be if I could stay with him for longer, to really help him to work through his anger, that it's completely gone. Because you see, like, his anger didn't affect me much, but that anger affected him, right? So he wasn't happy, and I needed to help him. Like, I feel like if we would start to talk and I would say that like, I know as a botanist, I know that I'm not hurting the ecosystem. I know that it's completely like those flowers are in abundance. That I pick in those flowers because I want to bring them for other people to see. So it's like it's not completely selfish, right? So everything what we do is in some way selfish. It's like less selfish, almost selfish. There is always like me who doing it. So I think that because in his world my reality didn't exist. If I would able to express what I think my reasoning, he would be able to see and let go. Because he has some kind of frustration. I don't know, like maybe people hurting the earth, but you see, like, and he assumed that I'm that person, right? That I'm doing many things to reduce my carbon footprint. And also, another good thing that came out of this is that I finally was pushed to see, like, if I legally allowed to do that. Because I think that my guilt of picking flowers was really about that I was breaking a rule that you're supposed not to do that, despite that there was no sign. And I found out that in state of Michigan, you can pick wildflowers if it's not for sale, if it's just for your own purposes. If they're not protected, if they're not endangered species, you can pick wildflowers. So I didn't do anything illegal, right? So kind of like that again, hopefully now, together with facing this situation, give me strength to let go of my guilt of picking flowers and be more like confident, and another such situation just won't appear in my life. So that's what I wanted to share. That like any negative situation in our life, it's helping us to grow. It's helping us to get closer to God. So embrace it, learn from it, be better, be completely in love for other people. Don't judge them. Thank you very much. Namaste.